takes a second to get set up. All right, hi everyone. I'm here with Pam Rolfing, one of our awesome Kansas City North Stars coaches, and she is going to talk to us about potting a plant. So take it away, Pam.
Good morning, everyone. I think now that we've been inside for, oh my goodness, it seems like a really long time, one of the things we might be thinking about is what can we do to make our lives more beautiful? Or maybe we'd like to make a gift for someone, like if grandma and grandpa are in a place where you can't go see them in person, and you might want to make a little something for them. And sometimes I find I'm not very crafty, so I might not be able to make something really beautiful with paper. But something that I do pretty well is I plant plants, and plants will put a smile on anyone's face. So I'm going to tell you some of the things that you need to start with. This is a great, inexpensive way to really cheer up an area. Now, first, you're going to need a piece of newspaper, and you're going to figure out why that is in a few minutes, because when Coach Pam plants, she throws dirt everywhere. I mean, it's just a thing for me. So I'm going to put a piece of paper down right here to sort of protect my area. I'm going to cock it down so you may not see my face, but you'll see what I'm working on. Okay, so this is my newspaper. Now, the thing about that is when you're done, you can just fold up your newspaper and the mess goes away. So who doesn't love that? Then you're going to need a pot. Now, I got this one at Lowe's, and it was only $1.79. And what I like about it is it's super lightweight, and then it has what's called a drip pan on the bottom. And that means if I put too much water in, and let's be honest, that can happen, it has a place for the water to go. And the other thing that I really like about it is that it's a good size. So you don't have to have a lot of expensive plants to put in it. 1 or 2 little flowers will really fill it up and make it beautiful. You might want to use one of these, and this is Mrs. Rolfing or Coach Pam's spade. And you can see it's dirty because it rained really hard last night, and I decided to make sure everything was okay, and it stuck. So if you see the dirt, I think it proves that I'm really a hard worker. But if you don't have one of those, then all you have to do is go to your kitchen, and you know how we all have those spoons, those big spoons we've had forever. Well, here's the beauty. This will work too. And then when you're done, you can just wash it and put it back in the kitchen sink. So if you don't have one of these bad boys, you can definitely use one of these bad boys. Okay. The next thing you're going to need is a little bit of rock. And you're probably thinking, why is she putting rock in her pots? We're going to get that to in a minute. You don't have to buy them. A lot of them have them. A lot of us have them in our yards. But the beauty of putting a rock in a pot is that, see how lightweight this is? Last night, if I had this sitting outside and we had that thunderstorm, with the plant in it, it might have ended up way over there. So a little bit of the gravel helps give it a little bit of weight and stability. And it also means I don't have to use quite as much potting soil. You also have to have potting soil. The thing about potting soil is it lasts from year to year, and this is not a very super big bag, but I've had it for a long time, and I keep scooping out of it, and it works great. And then you have to have a plant. And see, you can tell my plant was in the storm last night. But before we get too far, I also want to remind you that you need to have an old towel that you can use. See the hole in this one? This is my planting towel. And what is that for? It's for my hands, because I don't like to use gloves. I like to get my hands in the soil. So I have to have something to wipe them on instead of just my jeans. Today I'm going to show you a special thing that I do sometimes when I'm planting a plant as a gift. I go up into my fabric box, and I bet some of you have fabric of your own, or you have family or friends that might have fabric. If not, you can even use wrapping paper or anything that you want. And I'm going to wrap my pot, because as you can see, it's a pretty plain color. So I'm going to put my pot in the middle of this, and I'm going to take my fabric and I'm going to just gently put it in, just like this. Now, what's cool about this, you guys, is that you can tuck it in, so you don't have to worry about sewing edges or what's going to show. You just tuck it in as well as you can. And then you get another piece of fabric and you just tie it around the middle like this. And I'm going to show you, I'm going to turn it around and just make a square knot, just a little knot. And see, it's already starting to kind of come loose a little bit. And I think that just adds to it. But look how pretty that is. And suddenly that plain little $1.69 pot is this really decorative, really pretty one. You can see there's just a little bit of fabric on the inside that doesn't hurt your plant. Isn't that pretty? Now, when you give this as a gift, think about how extra special it is because you took the time to decorate the pot. Okay, so now we have our pot ready. Does anybody remember what I said we'd start with? I bet you're right. I bet you're thinking probably the pebbles. So if you see my pebbles right here, I am just going to take my hand and reach in there and grab a handful. See, it's not really extra special or anything. They're just little rocks. I don't know if you can see them. And I'm going to put them in. Now, the reason I like to buy the bag rocks is because I know there's no chemicals or anything in them because they haven't been out in my yard. I'm just going to put 2 handfuls of rocks in the bottom. This is also going to help because the fabric that I put around the pot might absorb some of the water. And by having the extra layer in the bottom, it kind of keeps the pot from making the plant too wet. And I'm thinking, why could a plant get too wet? Well, sometimes plants aren't thirsty, and we have sort of a habit of putting too much water in. And then it'll droop a little, and you think, oh no, it's thirsty. And so then you put more water in, but that's not the right thing to do. So we're going to talk about how to check to make sure it really needs water in a minute. So we have our decorated pot ready to go. I'm going to give this to my mom. She's in a nursing home, and I haven't been able to get up and see her, and I'm going to give this to her to put out on her patio. Now, you can also put an indoor plant in here, something that will grow inside. This is for her patio outside of her apartment, so I'm putting an outdoor plant in. But you can ask the nice people at Lowe's or any place where you shop what a good plant would be for inside grandma's apartment or inside your home or even on your desk. Are some of you guys doing work at home right now? Then you might want to put something colorful on your desk. All right, there's the potting soil. And this is the really fun part. I'm going to use my special spade and I'm going to scoop in, and you can see there's not a lot on the spade. It kind of helps me control how much dirt I put in at a time. And I'm going to tell you why in just a second. That's 2, 3, okay, 1 more, I think. 4. Okay, I just spilled some on my shoes, so we know this is really happening. All right, so look inside. It's not super full. Because here's the best part. Here's my cute plant. I am going to take a hold of the plant really gently here at the base of the plant. See where I'm grabbing? And I'm going to turn my plant, the thing that it came from in the store, slightly, and I'm going to squeeze the bottom just a little bit. And I'm going to gently, gently pull. If you don't squeeze the bottom and you just pull it out, you might pull the plant completely off, and then you'll have just a bag of roots and no plant. And I'm getting a bonus second plant at the same time because they were sort of attached. See these white things? Those are the roots. Do you know what that means? That means this plant really needs some room to grow. You know, when your shoes are too tight and you're thinking, man, I can still wear them, but they're not quite comfortable. Well, this poor plant has really tight shoes on. So we're going to put this plant into the pot to give him some room. Okay, now the plant is looking pretty happy. He's pretty excited, but look, it's going to wobble wobble. You know why? We need more dirt. Bring the potting soil back. See how happy the plant looks already? Can't you just tell he's thinking, I can wiggle my toes now? Okay, here we go. I've got this big scoop of dirt, and I'm going to add it to the pot. And I take my little spade and I put it down a little bit. Now I'm going to do that until the plant doesn't wibble wobble anymore. I know these are super technical terms I'm using, you guys. See, I just threw some on the newspaper. Coach Pam is just a mess when she does this. I'm not going to lie to you. And for some reason, I'm wearing white tennis shoes. Okay, this looks pretty good. All right, so you can see that it's almost full to the top of the pot, but the plant itself isn't all the way down in. And I did that on purpose because if you plant them too deeply, then it's not good for them. You want to be able to see the very spot where the plant attaches to the roots, and that needs to be up on top. Okay, so now my plant is planted, and you're thinking, that was super easy, and you know what? It was. But we're not done yet. We have to do the most important step, which is we have to clean up our area, and then we're going to talk a little more. So I'm going to take my really beautiful plant here, and I'm going to set it to the side, and I'm going to use my handy dandy towel and dry off my hands a little bit because, of course, I might dry off my white tennis shoe too. All right, now I'm going to take my newspaper. This is kind of a tricky part. I know you're probably wondering why I'm going over this so much, but if you do this inside, you don't want to have dirt on your floor. And you can see that all the dirt I spilled is still on the newspaper. So I'm going to fold the newspaper up just like this, like I'm making a present of dirt. And then I'm going to fold the four ends, and then I'm going to make a little burrito. Doesn't it look like a burrito, you guys? And now it's ready to go in the garbage, and I don't have any mess around my area. So that's like the best part is you make a dirt burrito. And please don't say anything about my cooking. That's not what we're talking about. Okay, so now I'm going to bring you back in, and we're going to look at our plant. Now look at how beautiful that plant is. And you can see that it's a little dirty, and that's really from the storm. That's not from me, but don't worry, that doesn't mean anything bad. But now I'm going to talk a little bit about water. A lot of times, if your plants sit outside, they're going to get watered by Mother Nature. It'll rain, and it'll keep your pot nice and wet, and that's cool. But sometimes, gosh, you guys, think about July when we're trying to play softball and it's like 900 degrees and we haven't seen any rain. That's when you really have to watch your plants. So I have brought out a measuring cup. Now, normally I would just use the garden hose, but when my mom uses this on her patio, she doesn't have a garden hose, so she'll just use a little water. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pour a little bit of water into the plant. And then I'm going to wait a second. And you can see that the water disappears. You can't see the water on the surface at all. You know that it's down in your plant. And then I want to talk to you about how you check to make sure that it's enough water. And let's just give it a second. Now, there's a lot of outdoor plants that you can use. And one of the things you should watch for is, see this one right here? That's a flower that already got flowered and now it's dead. And if you pull that off, it helps your plant make new flowers. Because what happens is that it puts its energy and its food into the dead flower instead of the healthy one. Here's one I think this one's going to bloom, so I'm not going to take that off. Normally you can tell because they're kind of an icky color. See how, let's see if I can find the camera. See how this is a darker color? That means that it's already bloomed, and now those are the ones you want to take off. See, here's another one right here. See how that's a darker color? Ooh. Okay. All right. So now I know that I put some water in and my plant is really happy in its new home and it's really pretty, but how do we check? So, you guys have a magic tool attached to you right now to check whether or not your plants are wet enough. Everyone's got a magic tool. It's this. It's your finger. So when I'm checking a plant, I take my finger and I just put it down in the soil a little bit. And when it comes out and it looks like this, what does it look like, you guys? Dirty! It's dirty because the soil is wet. If it comes out clean, then it means your soil is dry. And if your soil is dry, then it needs water. But just like when you check brownies and you put the toothpick in and you bring it out, and if you can see brownie on it, it's not done. It's the opposite with plants. If you put your finger in and it comes out dirty, then it does not need water. It's done. But if it comes out clean, then you need to add a little water. Don't go crazy, you guys. You just need a little bit of water. See how much is left in my cup? don't think you have to put a whole bunch and slosh a whole bunch in, just a little bit. So now you know how to make a plant that would be a great gift for somebody that you care about. And as we're in, probably for a while longer, because I'm hearing that some more people are getting sick and we might need to stay together in our homes a little while, and you're looking for things to help your house feel new and pretty, this is something that you can do that's kind of inexpensive and yet it looks super fancy. Thanks for joining me today. This is a really fun activity, and I want to make sure everybody knows that that Coach Pam and the North Stars are thinking about all of you right now, and we love you. Have a great day.